Hi there, welcome back to the channel, World War III. The phrase alone conjures up images of unimaginable destruction and suffering. It represents a failure of humanity, a descent into chaos that many believe we left behind in the 20th century. But in a world of rising tensions, shifting alliances, and rapid technological advancement, the possibility of a global conflict, however remote, cannot be ignored. The world has seen 2 world wars, each leaving behind a trail of devastation and fundamentally reshaping the geopolitical landscape. The horrors of these conflicts are etched in our collective memory, a stark reminder of the fragility of peace and the devastating consequences of unchecked aggression. Yet, despite the lessons learned, the world in 2025 stands at a crossroads, facing a confluence of challenges that threaten to push us toward the brink once more. The rise of nationalism, the resurgence of great power competition, and the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction cast a long shadow over our future. Climate change, resource scarcity, and mass migration add fuel to the fire, creating fertile ground for conflict and instability. In this volatile environment, the possibility of a seemingly insignificant event spiraling out of control, igniting a global conflagration, becomes a chilling reality. The question is not whether we can afford another world war, for the answer is a resounding no. The question is whether we have the wisdom and the will to prevent it. The future of humanity may very well depend on our ability to recognize the dangers we face, to learn from the mistakes of the past, and to forge a new path forward, one based on cooperation, diplomacy, and a shared commitment to peace. The path to World War III, if it were to occur, would likely be paved with a complex web of interconnected events and escalating tensions. While predicting the exact trigger of such a conflict is impossible, several potential flashpoints stand out as particularly volatile. Territorial disputes, often rooted in historical grievances and nationalistic sentiment, remain a significant source of international tension. From the South China Sea to Eastern Europe, competing claims over land and maritime resources could easily spark a conflict that quickly draws in regional powers and their allies. The increasing scarcity of resources exacerbated by climate change and population growth also has the potential to ignite conflict. As competition for water, food, and energy intensifies, nations may be tempted to secure their interests through military force, leading to a downward spiral of violence and instability. Cyber warfare, with its ability to disrupt critical infrastructure and sow chaos, represents another significant threat to global security. A major cyber attack, particularly if attributed to a nation-state, could easily escalate into a larger conflict, blurring the lines between conventional warfare and digital aggression. The rise of nationalism and populism, fueled by economic inequality, social divisions, and a sense of grievance, further undermines global stability. Leaders who exploit these sentiments for their own gain, promoting isolationism, xenophobia, and militarism, increase the risk of miscalculation and conflict. In this environment of heightened tension and mistrust, even a relatively minor incident could act as the catalyst for a wider war. A border skirmish, a terrorist attack, or a diplomatic blunder could quickly escalate into a full-blown conflict, particularly if fueled by misperception, miscalculation, and the dangerous dynamics of alliance commitments. The nature of warfare has always been shaped by technology, and a potential World War III would be no exception. Indeed, the rapid pace of technological advancement, particularly in fields like artificial intelligence and cyber warfare, promises to revolutionize the battlefield in ways that are both awe-inspiring and terrifying. AI, with its ability to analyze vast amounts of data, identify patterns, and make decisions at speeds no human could match, has the potential to transform warfare in profound ways. Autonomous weapons systems, capable of identifying and engaging targets without human intervention, are already being developed and deployed by several nations, raising serious ethical and strategic concerns. Cyber warfare, meanwhile, has emerged as a potent tool of statecraft, capable of crippling critical infrastructure, disrupting economies, and sowing chaos and discord within enemy populations. From hacking into government networks to spreading disinformation and propaganda, cyber attacks offer a relatively low-cost, high-impact means of waging war in the 21st century. The convergence of these technologies, along with advancements in hypersonic missiles, directed energy weapons, and biotechnology, has the potential to create a new era of warfare, one characterized by speed, precision, and unprecedented destructive power. Battles could be fought and won in milliseconds, with minimal human casualties on the winning side, at least in theory. However, this reliance on technology also creates new vulnerabilities. The interconnected nature of modern societies makes us highly susceptible to cyber attacks, while the increasing autonomy of weapon systems raises the specter of unintended consequences and runaway escalation. A simple software glitch, a miscalculation by an AI algorithm, or a well-timed cyber attack could have catastrophic consequences, potentially triggering a conflict that spirals out of control. In this new age of warfare, the line between offense and defense, between human and machine, is becoming increasingly blurred. Understanding the complexities of these technologies, their potential benefits and inherent risks, is paramount to navigating the challenges of 21st century security and preventing a catastrophic conflict. Just as technology would shape the nature of a potential World War III, so too would the complex web of alliances and geopolitical fault lines that crisscross the globe. In an interconnected world, conflict rarely remains isolated, and a spark in one region could easily ignite a conflagration that engulfs entire continents. The old Cold War divisions may have faded, but new rivalries and alliances have emerged to take their place. The United States, while still a global superpower, faces growing challenges from China, which is rapidly expanding its military and economic might. Russia, seeking to reclaim its lost influence, has adopted an increasingly assertive foreign policy, while regional powers like Iran and Turkey are vying for dominance in the Middle East. These shifting power dynamics have led to the formation of new alliances and the strengthening of old ones. NATO, originally formed to counter the Soviet Union, has expanded its presence in Eastern Europe, much to Russia's chagrin. China has been forging closer ties with countries in Africa, Asia and Latin America, seeking to build a network of economic and strategic partnerships that could challenge the existing world order. In the event of a major conflict, these alliances would be put to the test. The United States, bound by treaty obligations, could find itself drawn into a war with China over Taiwan or with Russia over Ukraine. The European Union, facing its own internal divisions, would have to decide whether to stand with its NATO allies or seek a more neutral path. The outcome of such a conflict would depend not only on military strength, but also on the resilience of these alliances and the willingness of nations to honor their commitments. A breakdown in alliance cohesion, or the perception that a key ally is unreliable, could embolden aggressors and make conflict more likely. The complexities of these geopolitical fault lines, the shifting sands of alliances, and the potential for miscalculation and misperception underscore the fragility of peace in the 21st century. In a world of interconnected challenges, cooperation and diplomacy are not merely desirable but essential for preventing a global catastrophe. And remember, if you like this types of videos, share the video and subscribe to the channel.